Yeah, it's me. No, I didn't disappear. Nope, I'm back. It's been about a month since last time I was on here. And what was I doing last? I think I was playing Repo last with Elver and Harley. And yeah, since then I've been getting used to a change in job. Um, I know a while back, excuse me. I know a while back I said I wasn't going to quit construction at any point because I'd been asked a lot on a couple different comment sections if I was ever going to quit because it seemed like construction wasn't the right industry for me. And I responded to that in the responding to comments on the construction psych culture video with I didn't want to quit because I didn't want to. I guess the best way I could describe it, like the best way I can boil it down, is I didn't want to admit defeat. And it had nothing to do with my feet, honestly. But yeah, no, I wanted to stick it out because it's a job. You're doing it to make money. You're not doing it to make friends. You're not doing it to have a great time. You're doing it because it's necessary for you to do, and you gotta do what you gotta do to get by and make a living. And I did that for 9 years. I was in construction, building new buildings, factories, schools, warehouses, hospitals. I was in a lot of projects and did a lot of work. And I enjoyed and am grateful for the time that I spent in construction. Um, Learned a lot, met hundreds and hundreds of people during my career. But as I talked about in my advice for new construction workers video, my health has always been a concern. Talked about, that goofy story about having to have 17 cavities filled and talking about my dietary habits and all that kind of thing. And what I've realized um, over the years, I am not a very strong person physically. That much should be immediately obvious. I'm 5'11". I weigh. I just weighed myself 150 pounds exactly, flat 150, and I'm 30 years old. So my health is a thing that I have to pay attention to. And working in construction, I've just not been paying attention to my health like I should be. What's up, Tinian? How you doing, buddy? Yo, is that astrotelescope? No, that is a Maxitov Cassegrain telescope. It's a reflector telescope. I got that on my 17th birthday, I believe. I think. I'd have to look back. I got thousands of pictures on this computer. I got to look back and see which birthday I got that on. But yeah, Maxitov Cassegrain. Just a reflector telescope. Just got a little lens. Although I would not, I wouldn't be opposed to getting a camera mount for it at some point, so I can take better pictures with it. Because trying to hold a camera up to the optic is a little less than stellar. It produces some really blurry pictures. Um, but yeah, I my health has been a big problem, and I've probably alluded to it a couple times, but I don't sleep on Sunday nights going into Monday mornings. I just don't. And I've realized that it's because of the stress of knowing that I'm going back into it. And I've got another day, I got another week of work ahead of me. And it has been so upsetting to have to go in every single Monday, not for a couple weeks at a time, but it's been on and off for a couple years where sometimes, some glorious days, I will go into a Monday with a full night of sleep. When those blessed days come, blessed? Why do we say the word blessed by pronouncing the ED? Cursed as well, cursed. We don't say we eated, we say we ate, obviously. That's how everybody speaks. Um, but my health needed to be needed to be paid more attention to, because trying to work an entire Monday off of absolutely 0 minutes of sleep is very dangerous. And coupled with the exhausting work that's being done, the monotony of the work that's being done, because that's what a lot of people don't get very quickly. Like, it takes a couple years of doing your job to understand that construction is repetition day in, day out for years. Like warehouses, for example. Building a warehouse from an electrician's perspective, you have your switchgear, your power being brought into the building. You have your lighting system, your panels, your receptacles of the docks, and dock levelers, and that's it. Sorry about my chair squeaking comedically. There's no variability whatsoever to the job. You do one warehouse, you've done them all. And just to do the lighting for a basic building, say 800,000 square feet. 800, let me finish what I'm thinking about, and I'll take a look at that very long comment. What's up here? There, have you worked at a warehouse? I've built them. I've built them. I actually haven't worked in them, like, you know, scooting around a little forklift, picking up pallets and stuff. I've just built them. But sitting up on a scissor lift with no air conditioning, no heating, no airflow whatsoever, 40 feet in the air, pulling metal-clad cable, thousands and thousands and thousands of feet of metal-clad cable for 600 to 1,000 lights, depending on the size of your warehouse. It varies. Obviously, all warehouses are different sizes. But doing that for a couple months to finish up the lighting system, and then lighting system's finished, fantastic. Turn the lights on, great. Go to the next warehouse now. Because you're done with this lighting system, the rest of the crews that are working on the other stuff will finish up their little aspects, whether it's the power in the electrical room, the dock levelers, whatever. You've done the lighting, so now go to the next warehouse, and then you have 4 more months of sweating up on a scissor lift, pulling cable. And that's not a bad job. Because a lot of people would love that level of stability, of always knowing what's going to happen and just being able to turn the brain off and just work and just do it and not have to think. That's a comforting feeling. To the predictability of it is fantastic. And that's something that I loved. But I'm also not a fan of monotony and boredom. And a lot of times, you know, if I had a helper up there with me, I'd be able to talk to the helper, and I'd have a good time talking to this helper and conversating. And then helpers would be cycled in and out. And, you know, they'll go off to this job site, or this one might quit because construction's not for them, and so they'll go somewhere else. And so there I am up on the scissor lift by myself, waiting for another helper to be hired in. Another helper comes in, we talk a little bit, then they go. And then the next one goes. I've realized that I am, out of my company, which is a pretty big company, and honestly, if I can be completely honest, probably the best company in this region to work for. Like, I'm not glazing. I have no reason to lie here. I'm just being honest. I've seen the competition, and we're about the only chance you have in this region of working in a good, large construction company and having good benefits and good pay and just good work to work on, and always having work to work on. So, you know, just been here a long time and don't intend to leave. And then seeing that from the day that I started, there's maybe 4 or 5 people that are still with that company today, that were there whenever I started, and thinking, man, the turnover rate is horrendous. And that's scary because, again, what I was talking about a minute ago, wanting the predictability and the comfort of knowing that things are going to stay the same and that I can depend on this thing always being here. But then all these different people are gone, and thinking, why are they gone? And is the reason that they're going to be the reason that I one day go and can't depend on this for a job? Let's see. Planning on moving to Arizona soon and work for a construction company for my first time. Work at the airport as maintenance crew in Saipan. Get paid $8 an hour. Oh yeah, moving to Arizona out of Saipan. I mean, that's a big upgrade. Arizona's from what I understand, that's a great place to work. I think I only know like 2 people from like that area. Know a decent number of people from the Midwest, but generally, yeah, working in the Midwest to the West is really good. Just stay out of California. um, 40 years old, worked physical job my entire career, looking to go back to school to skill up myself, hopefully find something less labor intensive. And that's what I'm going to talk about, because I've talked about construction, and I've got a couple more things to throw out there as far as construction. And then I'm going to talk about what I'm doing now, because I am doing something different now. Yep, it's very comforting. Yeah, just that predictability is like, the cat that knows where its bed's at in the living room and always goes to that one spot. And then you move that bed, like after 2 months of it always just slinking in there and sitting in the bed, and now it has no idea what's going on. Where's my bed? It's running around the living room. It has no idea what to think. Yeah, it's that. Like being able to just predict something is always going to be the way it is. You can plan months and years ahead based on that. And it feels good to have that much control. Or at least feel like you have that much control. Thank you for the 5 likes on the stream. Appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. Working as a loader, it's different every time. Very painful. Oh, okay. I got you. 1,500 items every day is ridiculous. Feel for your brother, and health shouldn't be shrugged. Yes, health shouldn't be shrugged off. Been in the trade for almost 8 years and going. Yeah, and honestly, like, I like the work. I do. I like the work. I've always been in some way involved with electrical. My granddaddy taught me how to repair electric motors from the age of 8. He started teaching me, and he like really started, getting me in depth on it whenever I was like 11. And so I've always worked on electrical systems. And so going into electrical construction was kind of the next step up from that. And it feels good because I like complex systems and puzzles. And there's no better way to describe an electrical system than a big old puzzle. It's fun. I like that. It's just the getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning every morning for the rest of my life and living off of gas station sandwiches and energy drinks just to get me through another day, never sleeping on Mondays and having to go for 36 hours straight awake and trying to be alert, because one thing about construction, you can't not be alert. You have to be always on. And if you're not, you're putting yourself at massive risk, because construction's very dangerous. So yeah, the health is a big deal, and you can't not be on your A game with it. I'm a carpenter by trade, done it for a few years and decided to leave. Too many toxic leaders in the trades for me to care anymore. I understand that. Yeah, it's just a giant mixed bag. And working in construction, you work with dozens of other contractors and hundreds of other people. Like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I've probably worked with thousands of people at this point. And it's a mixed bag, and you get maybe 80% of them are, cool, chill, just want to go to work and do their job and go home. And then the other 20% is out to bite you. And it's just, but you're going to have that in every business. Like every industry that you get into, whether you are a professional napkin folder or, working in an office, there's always going to be a majority of people who just want to do their job and go home. And there's going to be some people who are like, who can I catch now? It's like that no matter where you go. I don't know how many companies with high turnovers even stay up. Well, retail somehow manages to do it. Think about how many grocery store employees you see that are like there for 10 years, there for 5 years. Same with food service. I'll read a couple more and then I'll continue with what I was saying. I do tile mason trade out in California. Money is good. Hard work is very fulfilling. Very dusty job though. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that silica dust, man. Got to mitigate that silica dust. I just quit roofing this week. Had 0 time to study French and get my Canada residency. It was easily the worst month of my life. Old heads drove me crazy. Old people being stuck in their ways is a thing that I've heard a lot of complaints about, but I promise you, bud, even though there may be malevolence in their tone, it's just years of being raised around malevolent people and working around malevolent people. And if they would have had a better situation that they were working in, they probably would have been better old heads. You know, the attitudes of the people that you're working around will directly influence your attitude and influence how you go on to affect other people. Best way I can say it, you know, a hot coal taken out of the fire and set off by itself cools down very quick. I have ADHD. Do you think construction's a perfect job for me? Depends on the trade. Yeah, it depends on the trade. I think ADHD would be fine for maybe plumbing and just don't do concrete, don't do painting, don't do insulating, I think. I don't know. I don't have ADHD, but I know I know an ADHD electrician, I know an ADHD plumber, and they seem to be fine. But it's the boring. If you can't get bored if you have ADHD, yeah, I understand that can cause quite a ruckus. You should do electrical inspections. No, I am going to talk about what I am doing right now. Oh, that inspection's not a real job. Everybody knows inspectors don't do anything. They walk around and they do this little right here, and that's the most work they do. I mean, come on. I'm joking. I'm sorry about my squeaky chair. It's ridiculous. It sounds like I'm sitting on celery. But like I say, I liked construction. I enjoyed my time in it, and I'm grateful for the time that I spent in it because it taught me a lot and a lot of stuff that I will continue to use for the rest of my career and the rest of my life. But I don't want to misquote the statistic. I want to look something up for you real quick. I want to Google, because right now I am 30 years old. Today is May 29th of 2025. And if I live a normal average lifespan for a Caucasian American male, I'll be dead in 47 years. I have 47 years left to live. And juxtapose that with the average life expectancy of a construction worker in the United States. And it's about 64. About 64, according to Google. Which means I'm middle-aged. I'm halfway done. And that's disturbing. Not because I'm afraid of dying. I kind of got out of that a long time ago and realized, hey, living forever is a terrible way to live. But I don't want to be halfway done already. I've still got my mom and daddy are living right through the wall from me, and I got to be there for them, and I want to take care of them. And if I'm in bad health, whenever they are close to checking out, I can't help them the way I need to. And I want my quality of life whenever I get to being older to be good enough that I can be a service to the people that depend on me. And working in construction is breaking my body. My right shoulder, I'm 30 years old, my right shoulder pops every time I move, and it has for months. If I lift it any, like above here, like right there, it starts to really start to hurt right under the armpit. And I can't do anything higher than that. For some stupid reason, my ring finger on my right hand has also been like cramping. But it's like constant. It's not like a muscle cramp that starts sometimes and then you drink some water or splash some pickle juice on it or whatever you do to get rid of a muscle cramp and it stops. No, this son of a gun here just always feels like it's cramping. Invariably. I don't know what I did to it. Smashed it with a pair of side cutters. I don't know. But I know that it's always sore. And my back, one day I'll tell the story of how I injured my back, but yeah, that's going to have to be years down the road. I quit construction because I want to live to spend the money that I'm making. And just by the nature of the job itself, if you are pretty well-built, athletic guy, you can do very well and you can make a lot of money and you can live a normal life expectancy. Like what I was just looking up a second ago, 64 years old is the average life expectancy of an American construction worker. That's probably, I would imagine, I haven't looked at the entire, like all the math that they did for that, but that's probably factoring in like injuries that cut people's lives short at like 20. So I'm not saying that construction's a bad industry to be in, because you can make a lot of money and it's a stable, good job where it's predictable and you can learn and you can excel and you can rise in the ranks if you put your heart and mind into it and you back into it. You can do very well for yourself and you can build a stable career that'll help you provide for yourself, provide for your family, and if you are careful with it and take care of yourself and pay attention to yourself, you can live to spend the money that you're making and have a good quality of life whenever you retire. Probably early, because you can make that much money, I'm telling you. My solution was to work in electrical maintenance and service. See, my company has multiple divisions. We're big enough where we have electrical, we have plumbing, mechanical, HVAC, carpentry, and we also have a service and maintenance division. And so, because I don't want to leave the company, but I want to have a job that's less physically intensive, but has more variety. Because like what I was talking about earlier, that predictability is comforting for some people, but once you've been doing it for a decade, it starts to become monotonous and boring and sad. So I just transferred to the maintenance division, and I'm now a maintenance tech, driving around in a company truck, tool body, ladder rack, that whole deal. And I go around to different places and do warranty work, service work, little small jobs, like somebody needs an air conditioner fixed, or the refrigerator is not cooling, or that kind of thing. I'm doing smaller projects that I don't get there and I have a set of blueprints. I have to get there and I have to diagnose the problem. I have to figure out what to do to solve the problem myself. I don't have a boss sitting there telling me, all right, Rain, this is what we need to do today. Sorry about clapping in the microphone. I know that was just a mite loud, but you have to understand, but I didn't think about it before I did it. So that's what I'm doing now. Let me get back to the comments. Privately owned business can be good. The people tend to be tight-knit. But you can reach a plateau faster because they can't pay as much sometimes. Yeah, because the privately owned businesses tend to be smaller. Yeah. Like if you have a publicly traded company, it has more money in the pot, so they're able to hire more people and get more business, provided they can, keep their safety record up. But yeah, I don't see ever working for a small company. Like I realize a small company can be easier to work for and can have easier jobs, but the pay isn't going to be as good. Oftentimes their safety budget and their safety standards are going to be more lax, so that puts you at a little bit more risk. Thank you for the 10 likes on the stream. Appreciate that. So yeah, I would want to continue working for a larger company. What's the most positive thing in construction besides the pay and learning experience? Feeling like you're doing something that's matters seriously. Think about what I'm doing. I'm sitting here talking to a camera. Think about people who do this for a living. Think about how many people you've seen on YouTube over the years that you don't watch anymore. Or you may have seen them once and you don't even remember their channel name. You remember a couple frames or maybe something goofy that happened. But there's people that do what I'm doing now professionally, and this is what they depend on for their income. And if you're not watching, they don't matter to you. And the moment that you hit the X button at the top right corner of the screen, they're gone. They're out of your life. They're out of your situation. They have zero control, zero influence, zero positive impact that they can make on you. But as a construction worker, you're building things that will be used for the rest of many decades, many generations' lives. Think about how many old buildings there are in historic districts. And there's hospitals and schools and factories and libraries and all these different buildings that you build that are always going to get used, always going to be relevant. And, 120 years down the line, they might get turned into a museum and tell the story of the people that built the place. You're contributing to thousands of lives that you'll never even meet the people that will be using the building that you're in, but they'll be happy that you built the place. They may not know you, but they'll be happy with the stuff that you left behind for them. Glad you'll still be here. Glad you got the truck. Oh yeah, bud. Appreciate you. What's up, David? What industry are you going into? Electrical maintenance. It was a lateral change. Still with the same company, still doing electrical work, but it's not in construction anymore. I'm not working in dark buildings and non-air conditioned buildings. Let's talk about maintenance a little bit, okay? In new construction, there's no power. Not yet. As an electrician, you're only working in the building when there's no power. You have to provide the power for the building. And so you're going to have months and months where you can't see except with temporary lighting, like if you brought a flashlight or temporary lighting tower or something to that effect. And God forbid it's hot. Like if it's not a beautiful 70 degrees outside with the wind blowing, maybe a couple clouds in the sky, you're going to be miserable inside of a concrete box. I'm telling you, those warehouses get so hot in the summer and they're so humid and there's no airflow. So if you're not going up there with a battery powered fan and lots of batteries into your scissor lift, or maybe you're on the ground, doesn't matter. It's still going to be hot and you better be prepared for it. And if it's winter time, you're going to be freezing your patukas off the whole time. So working in maintenance, however, you're in buildings that are already built, businesses that are already up and running and have the lights on and the air conditioner on. So it's a lot easier from a climate perspective. And the work is easier because you're lifting a lot less heavy stuff. And it's less physically intensive, but it's more mentally intensive. That's the main thing that I like about it. I get to think a lot instead of, sweeping everything off the table to make room for the giant map that you use to explain the plan. You have to look at the situation, look at the problem. What is the customer having an issue with? Okay. What can I do to solve this? And because of that, I don't think you can, I might be wrong. I probably am. I'm sure there's people who've made it work before. I don't think you can go into maintenance without having worked in construction for a period of time. Again, earlier I was talking about how I was so thankful to have worked in construction because I've learned a lot. But if you work in construction, you get to see the process of the building being built and the systems that are getting installed and how they're being installed. And you get to take that knowledge into maintenance. And whenever you walk out onto a job and walk into this person's business and you see, okay, this is where the problem is. Well, there's probably like above ceiling. You can go over there and there's like a hole and there's a cable being pulled through it and it probably goes into that room down there. It looks like the electrical. But if you have not been in construction, you don't know how the building is typically built. So you have to do a lot more like climbing up ladders and pushing ceiling tiles out the way, cutting into walls. You don't understand how a building operates. You don't, breathe building. I don't know how else to explain it. Like if you've played Surgeon Simulator, you at least have a slightly better grasp of how the inside of a body works than if you've never cracked open a body before and now, oh my goodness, you've got to do surgery. You know what I mean? Like you have to have some foundational knowledge, and construction gives you a boatload of foundational knowledge. So I think it's a good thing to work in construction before you get into maintenance, service, doing jobs in live action businesses that are actually online and producing and making money. So I've sat here in this chair for the past month playing Pow World and EVE Online and Valheim and getting into Discord with my friends and just not doing a blasted thing on YouTube and trying to think, how am I going to make a video talking about how I quit construction and got into maintenance and service? trying to figure out how am I going to record this? What am I going to say? What's the best way to phrase it so that people understand that I would still be working in construction if I was a healthier individual, if I wasn't falling apart. And I gave up. I just decided to screw it, I'll live stream it. I've always live streamed. I've been live streaming since 2016. Right here on this channel. And that's all I know how to do, because whenever I sit down to record a video, I'll record for 3 hours and just every take will suck. And the best thing that I can do is just quit trying and just live stream and ramble. So that's what we did. That's what I got. Learning skill is called YouTube or self-taught. Whatever works. You gotta do the job. You gotta learn stuff. And YouTube is a very good resource. Yeah, that works. And see, it'll work for some people. You don't have to go into construction necessarily, but I feel like it's just, it's a good starting point. But yeah, I'll go ahead and pinch it off and just say, yeah, I'm happy that I was in construction, and the reason I quit was not because the job is too hard or has a toxic culture or bad environment, bad people to work with. It's none of that, because you have that everywhere you go. It's definitely going to happen no matter what you're doing, where you're working. It's because I am not fit for construction, and I tried to make it work. But just the same as I'm not fit to be an underwater welder or a Navy SEAL or, well, not a circus clown, because I could probably do that. But there's a lot of jobs out there, and a lot of them make money, but you're not meant to do all of them. You're not meant to be able to do all of them. And that doesn't mean that the job is bad. It just means that there's something else that you need to be doing that will make you money, and you have to find what that is. And for me, I could do maintenance, I can do service, but construction was just it was a little bit too much of a man's job for me. I don't know how else to say it. That's a man's job, and I'm just a little old boy. I tell you what. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do maintenance, and thus far, a little bit of time in it, it's been great. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to be able to do it. Thankful for the people I've been able to work with. Thankful for the time that I had in construction. Knowing what I know now, given another opportunity to live life again, I've done the exact same thing, taken the exact same path. I wouldn't have gone straight into maintenance because I wouldn't have had the experiences. Would have definitely gone through construction again and quit around the same time. Maybe a little bit earlier, but yeah. But anyways, I'll get out of you guys' hair. Been doing this for 35 minutes. Thank you for the 10 likes on the stream. Appreciate it. If you have anything for me that you want to say, leave it in the comments on the video. It'll be in the upload section. Once I figure out how to edit this down to be a coherent video, I'll edit it down and upload it again, instead of just leaving it in the live shelf, because a lot of people don't realize that the live shelf exists. Like, seriously, there's some people that don't understand, the upload section is different from the live section. And so some people think that there's only like 30 videos on this channel instead of, I think I have over 700 videos now. Give me a sec. I haven't checked in a while. I wanted to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. I just blasted my face. Of your channel. 740 videos. But yeah, there's people that think I have like 30 or 40 because they don't realize it goes home, videos, shorts, live. And I have so many live streams. By the end of the year, I just blasted my face. What's up, Bradley? Hey, Ray, hope you're doing well. Maintenance on this channel works well for you. I'm still looking for something where I don't have to be at a desk all the time. 740 videos, but yeah, there's people that think I have. I appreciate the like 30 or 40 because they don't realize it goes home, dropping in videos, shorts, live. Yeah, I can't sit at a desk. I have so many live streams. That would be no. By the end of the year, I would go crazy. I would start throwing things. I would grab that lava lamp off the shelf behind me and just fling it. Oh, you can't see the lava lamp because of my camera. Hang on. That lava lamp right there, my uncle gave that to me when I was 6. Bulb stopped working in it, but I still have it. What am I gonna do tonight? I'm gonna stream some game, see if the boys are on. Might stream Valheim, might go into EVE Online, might do Tarkov, I don't know. But I'll go ahead and get off of here. Y'all have a good night. Thank you, Brightleaf. Thank you, Tianan, David York, Peyton Puzder, Here There, Trent Graham Flips, Alex Acree, Menudo Man, Duarte, Blayat Bear, Jay Carrillo, Carillo? Jay Carillo? Jay Carillo? I don't know. Space Travel. Thank y'all so much. I'll talk to you in a bit. I'm probably going to be going live here in a minute. I just want to get on the game.